What's up, guys? Hope everybody's doing good out there. It's been a while. I've had some computer issues, some editing issues, and I had to end up wiping my computer clean and restarting. So I'm hoping I got all that stuff taken care of. About 8.5 weeks away from leaving for Sturgis, and I had a little bit of a problem that I had to come up with a solution for. So at the end of July, I'm going to retire from work. And I'm gonna have only my personal phone with me while we travel to Sturgis, and I use that phone to stream my music to my Senna, and I also use it for my maps. So I need a way to keep that thing charged up. So I purchased the Ciro 3D Cybercharger there, and they say to hook that up directly to your battery. I'll be honest, I'm not quite a fan of that. There's going to be a constant charge, and I don't know. I don't know much about wiring, but I did purchase the switch pack for the dash on the Road Glide a while back. So I am going to try to install the switch pack and run the Ciro Cybercharger off one of my on-off switches, accessory switches. So that's the game plan today, but I gotta find out which wire is hot when the ignition's on. That's what I'm gonna try to figure out today. So I'm gonna switch this pack out with the blanks that's in the dash real quick. It's a couple screws, remove the trim piece, disconnect the blanks, unscrew them, screw these guys back in, and we should have power to the buttons here. So let me take care of that real quick, and I'll get right back with you. So it's been about 15 minutes. It took me about 15 minutes to swap out the blanks for the accessory switches. And I'm just gonna show you something real quick on these for the Road Glides. There's 2 screws on each side of your instruments here. You gotta take those out, and you gotta pop off the trim piece here. Service manual says you need to take this off. You do not have to take this off. You just have to turn it over to accessory switch. This will lift up. You disconnect your gauges and the connectors underneath the blanks. Now, the connector, to push the tab in to get the connector off on this side, it's upside down. So the connector is actually up against this piece right here on the inside. I couldn't really get it, but I just swapped it out while that one was still connected. Just moved it off to the side. There's 2 screws to swap it out, and you can see now, hopefully, that we have power to the switches now. So with that being said, I'm going to hook up the harness that came with the switch pack there, and this is going to go underneath the left side panel. We'll connect this up, and then we can either connect by the wires or by a Deutsch connector. So I'm going to test out the wires first and see if I can get the switch to cut them off, and then I might end up connecting it up with a Deutsch. The problem with that is the dealership doesn't open until Tuesday. It's closed Sundays, Mondays. So I'll have to wait till the middle of the week to get a Deutsch connector to attach to the Cybercharger to plug into this harness. So I'm gonna get underneath the panel here. I'm gonna see how the wires work. See if we can get a connection that way. So let me get the saddlebags and left panel off, and I'll be back. All right, guys, so we're back. We got the saddlebag off. We got the left side cover off. Now we gotta hook the wiring harness into the connector on the side underneath the left hand side panel. So I already got my FP3, the Vance Hines fuel pack, connected up to the computer, the data connector. So the other one here should be your accessories. Get the weatherproof cap off, get the wiring harness, and it just should plug right into this one. Okay, now we have that connected. The wires are for the middle or the first accessory switch on the left hand side. The Deutsch connector is for the accessory switch on the right hand side. We're going to test both of these out here. I got a circuit tester here, and we're going to see what we can come up with here. So right now the switches are off, the bike is off. Let me get my tester. Okay, I'm going to turn the ignition on the bike. Okay, the ignition's on the bike, the switches are off. So obviously this black wire is the negative. So I have nothing there, connector, I have nothing there. So the ignition's on, I have no hot circuits right now. So I'm gonna turn on the accessory switch for the wires. All right, that guy's on, we're plugged in, and we have a light. So now we are hot with the accessory switch turned on. Okay, I'm gonna turn the bike off, double check to make sure we don't have a hot current, and we have nothing. So this is exactly the way I wanted to do it. So let me check with the connector now and see if that's a constant hot or just when the ignition's on. Okay, so the ignition's on, the switch is off, so I have nothing. The switch is on, and I could hear the relay kick in here. So I'm pretty confident this one should work after hearing the relay, and we have a light. But that way I can control when the charger's charging, and I won't have a battery draw. I shouldn't, I guess, when the switches are turned off. So now I need to research if I want to go do a butt connector on the wires, or if I want to put a connector on the Cybercharger to get power to it. So I better look up the installation instructions for the switch pack. So let me look that up real quick and be right back. So I just read the installation instructions for the switch pack and the harness. So the Cybercharger has an inline fuse of 4 amps. Now to connect with the connector, that can carry over 2 amps. However, if you use the wires on the harness, if you're using only 2 wires with this, then you have to add in a relay if it's under 2 amps. I'm sorry, if it's over 2 amps. So I'm not going to get into all of that. I think what I'll do is I'll just put a connector, I think, on the Cybercharger, and then connect it up that way to this. Since it's got a 4 amp fuse in it, I need to hook it up to the switch that'll hold over 2 amps, which is the Deutsch connector. And I don't really want to add the relay in when I can just throw a connector on the Cybercharger. So that's where I'm at. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to figure out, I probably won't have the Deutsch connector today. I'll probably tune back in here in a couple days once I get the connector. And then I got to figure out where I want to mount this. I don't know if I want to do it with a perch mount or if I want to attach it to the handlebars. I got to take off my ram mount to see where it would be on the handlebars. So I'll tell you what, I'm going to come back in a couple days and I will update you guys on how I ran everything. I'm going to run it under the tank and through the wire harness to under the seat and then connect it in there. So I'll be back in a couple days when I get this thing finally totally completed. So it's the following weekend, and I think I got this all figured out. I hope. We'll see. So I took the wiring harness that came with the switch pack, the accessory switch pack, and connected it here. And the harness is connected here. I fished it through the left-hand panel here, brought it up here by the battery, and then what I've done is, this is the connector for over 2 amps. So I went to Amazon, bought the connectors. This is the harness for the Ciro Cybercharger. So I cut off the battery terminals, put on the connector, labeled it, as you can see, so I know what it is. And that's going to get connected here. I pulled the tank. I've already ran it up through the wiring harness, up into behind where the dash is, and then up the clutch cable and plugged in to the charger. So I went on and connected everything before I took everything off, and it's working the way I want it to work. It's going to work off the switch, but I'm going to start putting this thing back together after I do a good cleaning. Once you take that tank off, you can see all the dirt underneath it. So I'm going to get this thing cleaned up, put everything back in, put the dash back in, put the tank back on, and then we're going to test it out and make sure it's working the way that I'm anticipating it to work. So we'll be back when we get it all back together. All right, guys, we're back. The tank is on. The dash is put back on. I do have to put this cover right here on. I think the tab got bent a little bit. I might have to end up replacing that. I've had that dash off a few times, messing with these switches. So the moment of truth, we're going to turn the ignition on, hit the button, see what happens. But I can't lie, I've already tried it. It's working. It's working exactly the way I thought. So we're going to turn it on. We got this on. Nothing with the phone. I'm going to hit this accessory button right here. Light came on the accessory button. The phone comes on. And you can see the charging from the Cybercharger there. So that's it, guys. I have installed the Cybercharger on the bike, wired it through the accessory switches so I can control when it's charging, when it's not charging, so that hopefully it won't drain the battery or anything like that. It was kind of a pain in the ass doing it this way. I think I probably could have spliced into a wire underneath the fairing or something, made it a hell of a lot easier. But I thought, well, I've already put the accessory switches in, I already had the harness, so why not? You know, the longest part of this was waiting on the connector to come in to hook up to the Cybercharger wires. But other than that, I'm pretty pleased with it. Leaving for VAM come Friday, so it's going to be a good trip to test everything out and see how it does, see how it goes. Hopefully it's going to keep this phone charged up so I can use the maps and not drain the battery. So that's it, guys. I will see you guys on the next one. Thanks.